Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another exciting episode of PAS Professional Amazon Sellers. And today we have another incredible guest and one of my personal inspirations. And I'm not lying; I never told you that. But this is one of the rarest times when determination just builds something from an aha moment to what it is became. It's very inspiring. We have Lisa here, founder of Rinseroo. And why, Lisa, welcome to PAS Professional Amazon Seller Podcast. And why don't you introduce to our guests and listeners what is a Rinseroo, what it does? Because it's just one of those innovative products, right? Like unless you know what is it, you think you don't need it. But when you have it, it's like, yes, I need this in my life forever.
Okay, well, Ruben, thanks first of all for having me on. It's an honor, and I'm happy to be here because you do so much for my business. So I'm happy to reciprocate. So basically, Rinseroo started as an aha moment in my shower. I was cleaning dogs and rinsing shower walls with a bucket, and it was taking a lot of time, and it was a messy job. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. And literally, I thought of a better way. My son and I came up with a prototype that solved the problem. And we connected to a manufacturer, and the rest is history. 5 years later, and we've developed a really great business, primarily all e-commerce, and dominated by Amazon for sure.
Yeah, that's great. And like for everyone who has pets, it's something that you have to check it out. Like I said, unless you know what is it, you don't know that you need it. But yeah, it is great. And like I said, one of the inspirations of this, and it's like something from a prototype to concept to a full form business. It's just very very interesting with that. And thank you for sharing. So you mentioned the Amazon, which is like an e-commerce, and for those for anyone who watches Shark Tank, they know it's always like, hey, why you want to go to retail? So it is an interesting, like a lot of brands just to choose to be on an e-commerce solely without going to the retail, and sometimes it just makes more sense. So tell us a little bit about the Amazon portion. It may be an obvious decision, but what made you to go to the Amazon in the first place and choose like an dominating platform?
Of course. Well, I feel like Amazon is a no-brainer. I mean, that is where the customers are. It is so easy to establish a brand on Amazon. And if you have the right strategy, it connects you with millions and millions of shoppers. It's so easy. Our business, it's basically my son and myself. And you can easily do a 7 million or a multi-million dollar revenue on Amazon if you do it correctly and you have a unique product that and a great strategist such as you guys to help make it happen. It's just easy to do, and that's why we naturally went to Amazon. It was so easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the kind of pointers out there for those out there who kind of are contemplating and thinking, there's just a few data points that are very important if you miss. Like the with all the and we call this internally, necessary evil as far as the Amazon goes, because there's a lot of a kind of a negative publicity as well. There are a couple of things that you cannot really argue, which is the conversion rate. On your regular platform, you get 1 or 2%, maybe 3%. On Amazon, it's an averages from 8 to 9%, and just the sheer volume of people coming in just makes that exciting, and that's kind of exactly what you're confirming. You're basically, if this is another analogy that I did the other day, with discussing one of my friends who owns a mattress business, and he's a brick and mortar, like the food traffic. Think of it, an Amazon impressions as a food traffic. So you have an opportunity with Amazon acquire that food traffic lot more cheaper and in enormous quantity that you may not get in one of the busiest malls or anywhere else. So if you're thinking about the digital space and how it translates, here's a great example of that. And what Liz is describing is like easy. There's like so many eyeballs, and when you are putting the right things into the right place when it comes to both targeting and strategy, that's what it kind of comes together. So just for because it's kind of a relationship, listeners, I'm sure will be interested to find out. Tell us how was how was the business before we got in and after. And I know things are going good, but what do you think kind of the factors that played a pivotal role for you while we started working together?
Sure. Well, I've learned over the 5 years in doing this that there's an algorithm to being successful on Amazon. I don't know how it works, but I know the more you do it correctly, the more they reward you, right? They want you to
Yeah.
spend money on ads. You spend money on ads, guess what? You're going to be found on Amazon. If you don't do it right, you will be lost in an abyss of millions of sellers. But with a great strategy, it is really easy to do, and it is rewarding. So that
Yeah.
in a nutshell, that's what I would
Yeah,
say.
no, that's you're absolutely right, and when I explain, I actually create a whole deck to explain that because Amazon sales is an algorithm,
Hmm.
and if I break it down on the very basics of it, Amazon rewards the seller when you do right things to the buyer, and I'm not saying everything that the buyer wants or needs is going to be good for your business, but if you're looking into the spectrum of a formula, that's the
Hmm.
formula. You have the best reviews, you have the lowest price, you're creating an eyeballs, people buy, people continue to buy, and Amazon going to reward you with more sales with that. And I certainly remember a couple of things from our relationship aside from like the strategy and advertising and promotions that we have ran.
Hmm.
Some of the return challenges that we were facing, and for everyone who were kind of looking into it, I urge you to look into like one of the case studies that we have worked with Lisa here was clearly understanding where our returns are. What are the reasons of our returns? Are we over a threshold or not? Uh, Downloading the return reports occasionally and just analyzing everything and start having a minimal impact on whatever we can to reduce some of the returns that can occur. And this is just a things that we work on occasionally. It's not like but it helped us. It kind of clearly, reminds me of some of the things that we went through.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that. And for some of the case studies that I created for your brand, it also includes one of the, some of the proud moments, which was and still is being as a bestseller in in shower head and faucet categories. I know you had that category before, but you lost it. So why don't you share like how it felt getting back and kind of a we all felt bad when it got lost. I'm one of them. So I got enough excitement when it got back. So why
Well,
don't
that's
you share with the team?
Yeah, you get a little spoiled when you're the best seller and you're like, crap, it went away. What happened? But no, I mean, you guys, the POS agency, you've been very supportive and really trying to dig into what the issues were. And I feel like you're right. Like, if you have a bestseller, my thought, if I look at sales, like you can generate an increase in revenue from like I'd say 15 to 20% boost just by getting that
Yeah.
bestseller badge. And I don't know as if I could have accomplished that on my own. I feel like you guys, your team, they know how to analyze it. They know how to tweak the numbers and, and the keywords and really make it happen. And I think honestly, since we worked with you guys, I don't think we've lost it. And keeping the bestseller badge is, I mean, it's worth its weight in gold. It really
Yeah.
is. So thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, truly, guys. So again, kind of a get back to that. It's just a status, and the Amazon algorithm to a certain degree for anyone who understands an algorithm, for example, social media, it's based on a reach. So Amazon gives you X amount of reach. You can expand that reach by doing the ads. But if the return from that expansion of your reach is not positive, you're gonna push back by Amazon. But just the simple terms of explaining. So the bestseller base is that top of the line of your reach that you basically open up organically so many doors.
Mhm.
So reaching a bestseller is not an easy thing. And I do not want for you to kind of, I don't have that bestseller rank and get upset. No, it's not, it's an amazing thing to have whenever you get a chance. But you need to focus on expanding your reach and maintaining that the best value for the customer and continue having higher conversion and showing that the Amazon and to the customers focus on the customers just like Amazon does. Love the product that you're selling in all aspects of it, and that will open up. And then one day, your product can easily become a bestseller. And
Mhm.
that's not only safe for I don't know like this multi-billion-dollar brands. No, here's a great example of a brand that definitely achieved that. So. Another one, our listeners love to hear a couple of takeaways, and if there's any advice that you can share for brands, and we have right now this looming challenge that with the TikTok that may go away. We hope not. I'm on TikTok myself, so I really hate that. But there are brands that want to transfer to Amazon. In 2024, we've seen the most D2C transferring to Amazon, TikTok brands to Amazon. What kind of advice you can share with them, uh, to support or just some feedback on that?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at retail in general, there were big brands like, the Dooney and Burke bags and whatever. They used to hesitate to go to Amazon. But guess what? Now everybody knows that if you want to make sales, you need to be where the people are. I always say that. The big brands are on Amazon. They're not dummies. There's a reason they're there, and that's because that's where the sales are. It's truly amazing. I'm mind blown when I look at some of these brands and the volume that they do on Amazon. It's
Yeah,
shocking.
yeah,
But you figure you have access to the whole country, like
yeah,
millions and guess what? People don't just come to Amazon to browse. They come there because they want to buy. And that's the difference between like a Meta ad and an Amazon ad.
yeah.
Meta,
Oh,
maybe,
amazing
like,
point. Yes.
oh, that's interesting. When they're at Amazon, they're there to buy. And if you get into their space, they're going to click and it's going to convert to a sale. So that's why I think it's a huge miss to not consider Amazon. I mean, TikTok, we've had success on TikTok, but it's very, it's not consistent. You might get an influencer that their video tends to blow up once in a while, but not all the time. So you can't rely on that. With Amazon, you're consistently getting the sales, and that pays the bills.
Yeah, and like this is why I love doing this. This is my second recording, and we're having a conversation completely about and then things are opening up. What Lisa brought up, it's an amazing point. Like, when you're talking about those marketplaces, for example, even Walmart to a certain degree, and we'll get to a chance to talk about that in future episodes. But those are more of a top level consideration level platforms. People see, people consider. Like you said, it can be an influencer that just kind of gives you an idea of a product. But when you go to Amazon, it's where there's the most intent to buy. And do not give them reasons to leave when they come to see you. Just get them, capture them, and buy them. One of the great ways, by the way, like I recorded a video. It's now about the sellers on Amazon who sell. Make sure you have videos on. And on this
Oh yeah.
subject, when a prospect goes to your page and checks out your video, what it does, takes a time for them to spend, which is a clear ranking sign. So make sure you have videos. Another a pro tip for you. But yeah, absolutely, Amazon is a place where people shop, and there's a big intent to shop. And if you do run those meta ads, TikTok ads, there you have to have an Amazon strategy because there is a 90% of chance, data back, that will come to look on Amazon. If you're not there, the competitor most likely will serve the ad to them. And you
Yeah,
will
the
lose that
TikTok
customer.
totally overflows to Amazon if you're doing well on TikTok for sure. And what I love about Amazon, I'm addicted. I go to bed, I'm like, how much money did I make while I was sleeping last night? And I get on the app and I'm like, yay,
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know that. Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
good thing.
I have two phones for two different accounts. It's yeah, amazing. All right. Well, Lisa, this is it. This was all the questions that I have for today. But thank you again for being a partner, for being a supportive to what we do. We've met through a mutual friend, and we still work with them, and we're happy, very, very happy for the introduction. Very happy to work with you, and we wish you for all the future success. And again, thank you very much for joining the Professional Amazon Sellers podcast, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say, we do get a lot of people wanting to run our ads, but when it comes from someone that you trust and they recommend someone, that's what made the difference. And honestly, it was a great decision. I'm happy that they recommended you and we've never turned back. It's been a great partnership, and thanks for having us on and thanks for all that you do.